I remember the first time I walked into the B&H store in New York. It was overwhelming. I was there looking for one specific camera, one that had just been announced a few weeks earlier. And I found it, but it was totally out of my reach, not only because it was behind glass, so I couldn't even touch it, but because of the price tag. It was just way too expensive for someone like me. I thought to myself, I'll never be able to afford a camera like this. My wife was there with me, and I told her, this one is my dream camera. There is nothing I could not do if I had this camera. It's the last one I would ever need, right? Fast forward to today, and that camera I could only look at back then, the Sony A7R IV, is now in my hands. I had to wait 4 years after this thing was released to find a used copy I was able to afford. But the wait was totally worth it. I've been using this camera for more than 3 years now, and I love it. It's been a dream for sure. But is it truly the last camera I'll ever need, like I told my wife back then? Well, let's just say that the system hasn't been designed to make us feel content and satisfied with what we have, has it? I am now 2 full generations behind, and there's no doubt that the newer models are better in every way than my dream camera. This is why it's so important to have a clear idea of what we want to make with our cameras so we don't fall into the trap. You see, camera companies don't sell us a new camera or a new lens. They sell us a better version of ourselves, one that is more brave, one that goes on more adventures, one that has an incredible lifestyle. But sadly, the lions and the mountain peaks don't come included in the box with a new camera. That doesn't mean a new camera can be very useful to us. I mean, I bought the A7R IV mainly because it had a square aspect ratio. It might sound silly, but being able to see the final composition in camera was a huge step for my photography. So of course, if a new feature makes your life easier in the field by solving a problem you have right now, if it makes it more likely that you're gonna get the shot, if it lets you create images that were harder or impossible to make before, by all means, go for it. You have my blessing. For me, the very best thing about new models coming out is that the older ones get more affordable. And you know, at some point I'm gonna have to replace this camera. It's actually starting to show its age. I've missed a couple of shots in the last few weeks because the camera froze, and that's something it had never done before. But the main issue I have with this camera right now is the screen, because now for some reason it only works at certain angles. This is an issue that I had with my older A7R II. I was able to fix it myself, so I should be able to do the same with this camera, but it's not looking great for the long term. Now, I'm in no rush to replace this camera at all. I'm gonna keep using it for as long as I can, but if the recent release of the Mark VI means that I'll be able to eventually afford a used Mark V, well, I welcome it. So is this one still my dream camera? Well, for the most part, it is. That doesn't mean it's perfect though. No camera is or will ever be. Image quality wise, I have no complaints. This is more than I will ever need. Even my older A7R II was overkill for what I do. I feel like these days is more about those quality of life features, you know. For example, I have to use a shutter release to take long exposures with this camera, something I wouldn't have to do with the R5. Not only that makes it more convenient, but it also makes it more likely that I'm gonna get the shot because it's gonna create less shake on the camera. And there are dozens of things that could be improved. For example, I wish it had built-in storage, so if I forget the SD card, my day is not ruined. I wish the screen was bigger and the touch controls much better. I mean, camera companies haven't learned a thing from smartphones. Only Hasselblad, I think, is doing it right. Internal ND filters would be so nice, and if that's not physically possible, at least give us the option to merge in camera a bunch of regular exposures to create a long exposure. That would be a dream, to be able to do that without a shutter release and without ND filters. Similarly, I would love these cameras to have a night mode like smartphones do. They take a bunch of pictures and they merge them all together to reduce the noise, and this camera should be able to do that too. I want a smart trigger. The newer models have an AI chip and they are supposedly able to recognize different subjects, a train, a car, an animal, a person. So I want to be able to tell the camera, take a photo when you recognize an animal, take a photo when you recognize a car or a train, because that would open up a lot of possibilities where you leave the camera somewhere and just wait for the subject to walk into the scene so it takes the picture. And because many of these things are pretty niche and there is no chance that camera companies are gonna spend their time implementing them, I want to have apps in my camera so we can use our cameras in ways that the engineers at Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fujifilm, you name it, cannot even think of in their offices right now. That is one of the main reasons the smartphone industry is eating your lunch. Anyway, my intention with this video was to take you back to the time before you got your current camera and to remember the things that you were telling yourself before pulling the trigger and purchasing the camera you have right now, and to think about what you actually need instead of letting camera companies dictate that for you. Let us all know down below in the comments about your dream camera. Is it the one that you have right now? Is it one that you can't afford? Is it one that doesn't even exist? Now I'm gonna keep photographing this beautiful place. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.